Welcome to the Freedom's Herald podcast. Today I'm sitting with Sanj Altan of the Southern Mongolia Human Rights Information Center, and he has some new information concerning Hada.
Thank you, Jack. And I want to bring some additional information out to the attention of the viewers and listeners of the video series on Hada. On Wednesday, January 26th, after a number of attempts, we were able to contact Hada's uncle, Haschulu. It was a very brief conversation. It lasted maybe 1 minute, but in that 1 minute time period, we were able to get some important new information about Hada. Haschulu was allowed to meet with Hada in a military hotel located in the capital city of Inner Mongolia, Hohhot. The exact location of where Hada is being held is still unknown, but in this heavily guarded, very much highly secured military hotel, Haschulu met for a short while with Hada and spoke with him. The important points that he made were the following. Number one, he said that he has no information about the location of his wife and son. We had assumed that they were being held together. This is not the case. They're being held in separate locations. We don't know much about their conditions. We know that Hada and Shina, his wife, are both suffering from serious medical conditions. We don't know if they have access to medical care or medicines. So we still remain concerned, despite the fact that this video has been released, purportedly, showing that Hada is being allowed to receive visitors. But we have to keep in mind that it's under heavily controlled conditions and under supervision. So, it's by no stretch of the imagination can anyone say that because of this video, we conclude that Hada is now free. Nothing could be further from the truth. The second point that was made is that Hada mentioned to his uncle he's being offered whatever food he would like to eat, but he's not accepting that. So again, this is our interpretation is that this is a metaphor for the fact that the Chinese government is making all sorts of offers to him, making demands, and Hada is rejecting all of those offers and demands. And this is completely consistent with Hada's own principles and his own position all along, that he hasn't really done anything illegal, he hasn't violated any laws, he hasn't broken any laws, so there's nothing for him to negotiate. So we really urge the Chinese government to understand that this is a man of principle, that to accept the fact that he himself really believes that he's innocent of any kind of crime, any kind of charge that the Chinese government has brought against him, and that he believes in his own legal position and his innocence, and he has to reject all those offers. Because if he didn't, that would be acknowledging that he himself might have done something illegal, which is, of course, not the case. So I urge the viewers and listeners of the Hada video series to continue to press their governments and their government officials to inform the Chinese government that people all around the world are concerned about Hada, about his health, and about the health and freedom of his wife and son, that they should all three be released on humanitarian grounds, that there's really no legal basis for holding them and keeping them interred indefinitely like this. In fact, the longer that the government of China continues to do this, the more evident it becomes that the Chinese government itself does not respect her own laws, that the Chinese Constitution, which guarantees the freedom of individuals and human rights, is completely a sham. So it's really in the best interest of the Chinese government to start respecting the human rights of its own citizens. In closing, I would just like to read some of the comments that the director of the Southern Mongolian Human Rights Information Center, Enkbat Totsig, made after viewing this video. Enkbat mentioned that Hada is by no means free. Had Hada been free, Hustula's phone conversation would not have been abruptly disconnected, and the family members would not have been separated. The whereabouts of Hada and family members are still unknown. And in commenting on the actions of the Chinese government, Enkbat mentions that the government of China is like hiding in the shadows, like a clandestine mafia organization. The Chinese authorities have no confidence whatsoever of bringing up Hada's case to the public, owing to their action not only in violating international human rights conventions, but also trashing their own laws. We couldn't express more clearly our position on how Hada is being treated. And with that, let me close.